Oh my goodness. Took forever to file that complaint. Just let them know you're not working. What, do they not want to know that these wands are causing problems anyway? Wish I could use you to get home because it's faster to teleport, but you're still broken. Shit, I should really just consider joining a different writers guild. Like, they probably have better wands at different ones. I just calm down and try to see if I can get a ride home. No, I can't really can, but it'll take an hour, and I want to wait here for a flippin' hour. I've been here all day. Why does the traffic have to be so bad right now? Guess the quickest route home is through the fairy woods. Great! This day cannot get any worse. Yes, walking through the woods, don't wanna do this, I'm so freaking tired. Oh, hello, my lovelies. I am Madame Crystal Butterfly, and my lovelies, today has been a day. My wand's still acting up. I went to the Aries Writers Guild to complain and filled out some paperwork, and they were like, 8 to 9 weeks before we even needed to compare them. Anyway, I won't bore you with the semantics, but yeah, still broken, and I can't really get a ride home. Well, I can. It's a long way, and I'd have to wait a ton. Anyway, it's faster to walk through these woods, which obviously I don't want to do. You know, my lovelies, I've been in the fairy woods for a minute. I remember a story I read recently about the Fae called A Dance with the Fae Prince by Elise Kova. Why don't I tell you a little bit about the author who crafted this interesting story while I keep walking to get home.
Last time I discussed this author's work, I told you about her story, A Deal with the Elf King. A Deal with the Elf King and A Dance with the Fae Prince are both a part of Elise's Married to Magic series. In A Dance with the Fae Prince, Elise drew inspiration from Cinderella and the myth of Psyche and Eros. Also, like the rest of her stories in Married to Magic, she kept A Dance with the Fae Prince a standalone story that occurs in the same world as the other stories because she wants her readers to be able to pick up any book in this series and be able to read it without having to worry about reading the other books. Thanks to the invisible voice in many authors' heads that compels them to write. Many writers see it as a spiritual practice, and I asked Elise if she had this same view when it came to writing. And she told me that writing is good for her soul, and if that makes it spiritual, then yes, she does. As an author and a reviewer, I tend to be a little curious about how other authors handle book reviews. Elise told me in her case, she usually reads reviews in the first couple of weeks following the release of one of her books, just to see what resonated with readers and what didn't in order to improve as a writer. With all stories, no matter how talented the author is, there's always going to be that one section of their book that is just super difficult to write. In the case of this story, Elise's biggest hurdle was towards the end of the story when the romantic couple is separated. Mostly because when using this plot device, it's easier to pull the couple apart than to bring them back together because it needs to feel meaningful. And she also needed to make that meaningful feeling happen and get them back together as quickly as she could.
Walking through the woods, Yeah. I like the bees. Okay, looks like there's a party going on nearby. Hey, I guess I must be be near a fairy village or something. Then if I follow the music, I could find the village and a one shop to fix you. Yeah, that's a plan. Well, I guess I'll be dancing my way over to the fairy village. Speaking of dancing, why don't I tell you what a dance with the Fae Prince is all about?
She knew her hand in marriage would be sold. She had no idea Fae Prince was the buyer. Catra swore she'd never fall in love. She'd seen what love means through the cruelty of her family. So when she is married off to the mysterious Lord Finwood, for a handsome price, all Catra wants is a better life than the one she's leaving. Feelings off the table. But her new husband makes not falling in love difficult. As their attraction begins to grow, so too do oddities within her new life. Strange rules, screams in the night, and attacks by Fae that Catra never thought were real. When she witnesses a ritual not meant for human eyes, Catra finds herself spirited away to the land of Midscape. Surviving the Fae wilds as a human is hard enough. Catra must survive as a human who accidentally pilfered the magic of ancient kings. Magic, a bloodthirsty king is ready to kill her for in order to keep his stolen crown. And her new husband is the rightful heir in hiding. The power to save the Fae in her hands, but who will save her from a love she vowed never to feel?
Okay, the music's getting louder. Must be getting closer to the village. You know, my lovelies, it's good that my problems seem to be almost over. Unlike poor Catra, whose problems were just getting started after she got married.
When we first meet Catra, she's having some problems. Her father is no longer a living person, and she is at the mercy of her wicked stepmother and stepsister. Catra does get along with her younger half-sister, of whom she fears her sister and stepmother will manipulate into being a cruel person just like them. Thanks to the passing of Catra's father, her family is hard up for the monies. Her stepmother decides the only way to fix this issue is to sell Catra to the highest bidder. When Catra is inevitably sold to a wealthy noble, this same noble purchases a book that belonged to Catra's late mother and is one of the few things she has left to remember her. When this deal for Catra's hand in matrimony is made, her new husband actually was not present. She does not meet him until she arrives at his house. Well, she sorta meets him. You see, when she arrives in her new home, his butler gives her a set of rules to follow. She cannot wander into the forest next to the property. She cannot leave her room at night. And lastly, she is not allowed to look at her husband. Anytime she interacts with him, he's behind her and she's not allowed to turn around and give him a look-see. Our dear heroine is understandably not alright with her new home at first, especially these rules. However, over time, she starts to feel comfortable in her new place. That is until one day when her husband and the butler both disappear, leaving her only a note stating that her husband has gone off to fight some kind of monster, and if he does not come back, then all the money, the land, everything he owns is hers. She's worried still and, doesn't want him to disappear on her, so she decides to go and search for them and finds a tunnel, which after she goes through, she stumbles upon a group of Fae doing some kind of ritual. I won't get into the details. You'll have to read this story to discover more. power. But while the ritual is going on, she accidentally interrupts a ceremony that was actually meant to grant her husband ancient royal Fae powers. Oh, also in that moment, she discovers her husband is a Fae, an heir to the throne of the Fae kingdom. Once Catra is made aware of her new powers, she discovers that she is wrapped up in a war to be the ruler of the fairies. What I like about this character is she is a character that evolves throughout the story. In the beginning of the story, she accepts the fact that her stepmother is going to sell her. She's not happy about it, but she accepts it and mostly wishes to rebel against her stepmother's will, but can't bring herself to do it. After she's sold off, with the new rules being imposed upon her, she decides she wants to rebel against this and starts pushing for more and more of what she wants. And even after she ends up in the whole fairy debacle, she doesn't stop fighting for herself. And it's nice to see her assert herself and grow as a character.
Looks like I made it to the various village during a celebration. Awesome! I can check out some of the vendors and do some dancing after I get you fixed. My bad luck seems to be going away, my lovelies. You know who else had really bad luck? Catra's husband. Until he met her. Then everything got a whole lot worse.
Lord Finwood is a fairy whose first name is Davian. His mother was married to the last blood relative of the true royal family. Many fairies feel that this makes Davian the last living heir to the throne. Sadly, this also encourages the usurper of the throne to target him, because the usurper needs the true royal family completely wiped out to assert his rule. The only place the usurper has any difficulty getting to him is the human world. That's why Davian has lived most of his life hitting his home in the human world, but still close to Midscape. The only way to get this usurper asshole even off his back so he doesn't have to worry about him anymore and help all the fairies is to receive the power of the ancient kings. Unfortunately, when Davian tries to do that, as I mentioned earlier, Catra accidentally interrupts the ceremony and ends up with the power. So Davian's only option is to get the power out of her, which leads them to go on an adventure together to perform the spell to transfer the power that she has to him. Now, early on in their adventure, Davian is antagonistic towards Catra due to his frustration about what happened during the ceremony. This is a little irritating, but I do not criticize the author for doing this because this is also wrapped up in how Catra and Davian haven't really had a good amount of time to get to know each other. And he has been under pressure his whole life. After all, this crazy son of a so-and-so has been trying to kill him. And even though Davian's antagonistic attitude at first is distasteful, as he and Catra go closer, you're allowed to see him more as a character and realize he's a nicer person than that. And we were just given a wrong impression via the fact that we needed to get to know him as a character. And I feel that is a very good move by the author because it just tells you don't always judge a person that quickly. Well, in this case, a fairy.
Come on, Wand. Come on. Come on. I need you to work for me. They're getting closer now. Oh, dang. Racing through the snow to escape some trolls. They're not fans of fairy books now. I'm running for my life. Oh, jingle bells. Trolls really smell. Fanny publishers can suck an egg. Those trolls are getting near, trying to kick it in high gear, and the madam got away.
Realms, the Hidden Fairy, available now on Amazon Books. Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Good news! I found a wand shop and the owner is trying to see if she can fix my wand for me real quick. So my problems are just over, I guess. Unlike Catra and Davian's problems, which were just getting started. Yes, I know that wasn't the best segue, but I I've been walking through the woods for a while, so I'm too tired to think of a better one.
So Catra and Davian, as I mentioned throughout this review, have apparently found themselves in some deep shit. The current king of the fairies, who is the descendant of the family who took the throne from the original royal family, is hunting them. Now, the usurper family is known as the Voltovs, and these fairies are just like the absolute worst. Every single last one of them wants power and will kill to do it, so the fairies never have a king for long. One Voltov family member will take the throne, then get axed by another Voltov family member, and continue until we have our current Voltov. And this Voltov is doing everything he can to hunt down Davian and have him killed so he can be the true king of the fairies. Except even if Davian's gone, he'll never really be seen as the true king. He'll just be able to be more effective with his fear tactics to rule, because the fairy crown will not stay on his head. The true royal family casts a spell on the crown to make it so that if somebody who is not a blood member tries to wear it, it will just fly off their head. So all the usurper can do is really cast a spell on the crown to let it just hover right above his head, like hover close to his head, but it will never truly touch his head, so he'll never truly be the king. Now, where the current Voltov is unsuccessful in getting that crown on his head, he is very good at keeping the current fairy population extremely afraid of him, so they don't do a whole lot of revolting, with the exception of the fairies that are obviously revolting against him. The only way to stop the wicked king and finally bring peace to the fairy kingdom is to get the ancient fairy power out of Catra. How are she and Davian going to achieve this? Will they be successful? And how is their relationship going to work out? Will they fall in love, or will they just grow to hate each other? You'll have to read to find out.
Alright, my lovelies. When it comes to A Dance with the Fae Prince by Elise Kova, I am giving it the score of 5 butterflies out of 5. It was a fun read all the way through. I really enjoyed it. I found the characters interesting. The overall story was just fun. I cannot recommend it enough. So next time you're at the bookstore, you're going to want to grab a copy of this book. Now, my loves, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Leave me a little comment. And if you have not yet, slap that subscribe button like it owes your money. And don't forget to give that little notification bell a ring. Oh, thank you. This is nice and fixed.
I did the best I could, but you're better off not using it.
What do you mean, don't?
I said don't use it!